everybody. I'm Mike Asher Brenner.
Brother.
Brenner. This is a Hounds of Business takeover. So,
Dun, dun,
yeah, Zindal,
dun.
do we know what we're doing today?
No clue. What are we doing today?
I don't know. My sister is on break, excited to listen to our now favorite host talk about empowerment, resilience, and triumph. That's right, right? Taking over. We got to level this conversation up. So we're waiting for more people to come in. Um, Literally today is super important, right? Our brother Jason Wilson's gonna have information about Rochelle, our dear sister, and what we are doing. And you already know that Level Up Academy and Hounds of Business Community are partnering up to level up people even further anywhere you want to be: press release, publicity, magazines, radio, podcast, TV show, publishing, book, magazines, you name it. Any type of amplification you need, we got you, right? Just take that line though, because I have a little bit, just a little long line. But we love communicating with everybody. And I couldn't do this without my sister Sindel here. Sindel, how are you doing, sister?
I'm doing great. I am coming out from behind the back. I know I always hit the buttons and I'm hitting buttons now. Sorry.
You're
Uh,
hitting buttons now.
but the boss is away, so the mice have to play. So
So we're the boss today.
we're the boss today. Yeah.
I know. Isn't this lovely? It's all in pink. It's not Mike's theme at all.
Court.
I
No.
know, right? Love pink. So what are we doing today? What are we doing today, Cinda?
Today we are gonna talk cancer with Miss Rochelle and Jason, and we are so excited that Circle of Friends and Orchid Healthcare are coming together, and we're gonna have this conversation. And I cannot wait to hear what awesome things they're doing.
And we want to make sure that we can amplify that message. We're going to have signups for you guys for the expo. We're going to talk about it right now. Are you ready? Go ahead
We're
and
ready.
start the intro.
Let's go now.
Are you looking to grow your network and your net worth with other high-level, heart-centered professionals? Then grab a seat and your favorite beverage and join Mike Asherbranner, the Redneck Connector. It's time for the Hounds of Business Community Happy Hour.
Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun. All right. So what do we have to show right now before we bring our beautiful guests?
Before we bring our guest up, let's throw this up.
Yes, yes.
Woo.
Rebel with a cause. Guys, today is the very last day you can sign up with Rebel with a cause. Stand up, speak out, and make a difference, right? Turn your pain into passion and purpose, and make sure that you really be out there. Now, I understand there's two people, I have talked to so many people. There's two times or two reasons that I'm given. One is financial, and the other one is time constraint that people can't write, right? That's the most common one that I've been getting. So what I have done is I've created a Rebel with a Cost journal, and it's going to come out next week. So even if you can't afford to be in our anthology, I still welcome your thoughts, your viewpoints, and get in that journal and start writing your own story of your rebel. Right? You're being a rebel when you already are speaking out for your community. You're bringing out ideas. You're innovating, just like the people we have today. These guests that we have today, they are rebel with a cause, right? We're changing the status quo. We're making sure that if other healthcare professionals out there are not talking about it, we're going to talk about it because we have a passion for helping our community. So, what else is next, Sindel?
Let's see. Oh,
Yes. This is our topic for today: Freedom Fight Expo. And I cannot wait for the circle of friends, right? Jason is going to elevate and communicate with us what we are doing for oncology mindfulness today with Rochelle. So I'm going to give you guys at least 5-10 seconds right there to scan the QR code. QR code. We want you to scan it. And then what's next, sister?
Next, we have. Oh,
HOB. Look at
I
that.
know those people. You do
I do too. I kind of know those people.
too.
Are looking for HOB ambassadors. So if you are an HOB, we are needing five. I think we already have a couple of applications, but
Ooh,
we're going to end this probably by this week. I said today, but I'm going to give it a weekend. We're just looking for five. You have to be a member for at least 3 months. You're able to introduce people to us, but we don't want just any people. We want to be selective because this is our community. We don't want no mama drama. We want somebody who wants to be in a community where you are accepted, elevated, celebrated, but not just tolerated. We also want you to show up for engagement, just like people here. Dr. New, my sister Susanna, Danielle, right? Rochelle is even here. Mike is probably sneaking in here.
he
Islam,
already has. Yep.
Grace, right? Tracy Lamb, what's up, sister? Islam is also here. There's so many HOB here. So if you guys want to be a champion for others, then you're in the right place in this community. So apply on that QR code. So I'm going to give you guys about 3 seconds. I try to match Mike, but you can't. I can't wear orange. Pink, orange is the best I can do. Salmon,
Coral. Yeah, coral. Salmon.
right?
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. We've got one more. There it is. This one didn't want to add to the others. We
Yes.
have. Go for it.
Go for it. You work for
Okay.
her.
We have the happy birthday girl herself. If you missed it, today is her birthday. Happy birthday, Boss Tanya. If you were to change how you're seen, to charge what you're worth, make so much more money than what you're making now by dialing in your brand and getting all your stuff right. So people who know that you are the celebrity that you are. So scan that QR code and come work with us.
That's right. Join us and just have fun. By the way, let's sing happy birthday. Can you guys
Oh,
sing
yes.
happy birthday?
Let's. Are you
We
ready?
Yes. Okay, ready? We're gonna
Okay.
be off tune, so you all just hum in your head. Okay, ready? Five, four, three, two, one, go. Happy
Happy
birthday
birthday, you.
to you. Go
You.
for
Happy birthday
it. To
to you.
you.
Happy birthday, dear Tanya. You're making me sing this alone.
Happy birthday to
You,
you.
you. Yay!
Yay.
And this is why I'm not a singer. All
Oh
right.
my gosh. Oh, that was so fun. Tanya's like, please stop,
Please
stop.
just
I'm
go.
not celebrating my birthday anymore from you people. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
All right.
man.
Are
Look,
you ready? What are we doing?
I think Mike said it best. Daggum straight.
Oh, dang it. Bro,
Yeah,
go have fun with your family.
go play.
Oncology, mindfulness with freedom X. I know this is so I'm literally super excited. Why don't we bring both of the amazing king and queen for the day?
Dun, dun.
Dun, da, da, dun.
Yes.
Jason, your time to sing. Remember Michael Jackson? Come on.
Okay, we'll have to do that like on another show, maybe.
No, bro. Today's the day. This is audition day. Either you go in or you go out. Oh my. Well, welcome to Hounds of Business Community Level Up Style, right? That's for sure. Um, I actually wanting to get a little bit more information before we dig deep in what you guys are doing for your community. So I'm gonna start with Jason, and then I'm gonna go to Rochelle. The first question would be, who is Jason Wilson? Like, give me a little, I don't know, 2 minutes of why are you doing what you are doing today? So think back maybe about 20 years of your life, like where you got, how you're here today.
All right. So when it comes to cancer, that runs actually in my family. The earliest memory that I have was of my great grandmother, and she had pancreatic cancer. So I remember, when I was about 6 years old, I went up to New York, where she was from, And I was in the room where she was basically on her deathbed, and everybody was around her, changing her diapers and praying. That was my earliest memory of that. And she actually died a few months later after that. And my great grandfather died of a broken heart 2 days later after she died. So when it comes to cancer, this is something that hit close to home a long time ago. And then when I got married to my first wife here in Colombia, 2 weeks after the honeymoon, she says, "Jason, I have something to tell you." I said, "Okay, what is it?" And she said, "I have breast cancer."
Oh,
And so, if you can imagine the trauma and the state of shock that somebody would be in a situation like that, receiving that kind of news, all of these events leading up until now have led me to be more of a help to people with mental health, because I think that when you receive that kind of news of maybe a terminal disease like cancer, in some cases, you don't know exactly how to prepare for something like that. And this is something that can affect you, of course, but your family, your friends, and everybody surrounding you. So when Rochelle brought to me after the Freedom Fight Expo that we did in March, "Hey, Jason, I think that doing an event for cancer would be a good idea," I jumped at the chance. I said, "You know what? I agree with you. Let's make that happen." So I thank you so much, Rochelle, for joining me in this fight, and thank you to everybody at the Hounds of Business community for supporting us with this as well. It's really, really special what we're doing, and I'm just blessed to be a part of it.
Thank you for sharing that.
mhm.
I think you shared that with me on our coffee chat. I don't know if you guys know, but I had ovarian cancer in 2011, April, March 31st. And in April, I got a call, very cold. Gosh, I just remember, like, "Are you sitting down?" I picked up the phone and I'm like, "Yeah, no, I have kids." I had kids. My kids were small. They're like, "Oh, by the way, you have ovarian cancer, stage one. It's really aggressive. If you don't get it taken out, you might have until December."
Wow.
Mm.
Just like that, the delivery of message. And I didn't have any family. I didn't have any friends because I moved to Boston and to Virginia at that time. I was from San Diego. I didn't have any friends there. And I went in depression pretty big time. And I didn't even talk to my husband until they had to almost break down my front door because my husband was doing well check and I wasn't picking up because I didn't know what to do. Like, someone tells you you're going to die and they have two small kids. Like, what are you supposed to do? Right? It's a very lonely place, but you don't give up. You just keep going and hope that you will live. Right? And that's really the choice that you have to make for not even for you anymore, it's for your children. And so when you guys actually talk about this, it's very close to me, it hits close to home. And so thank you, this is a very important topic that we're talking about today, and for you to support, right? And so Rochelle, I'm going to go to you and ask you, how did you actually come to where you at to now? Think about 20 years, right? From 20 years ago, if you can go back that far and kind of look at the timeline, the big timeline of your life and how you got here today.
So, first of all, I want to acknowledge your bravery for both of you, being on both sides of the spectrum of being that spouse and then being that individual that and sharing your story. It is truly profound. CJ, this is the first time I'm hearing your story. So, if I've made some faces, it's because I'm just trying to take this all in. And every time, for every patient, for every family member that I hear this, it always rocks me to my soul because my husband and my spouse are cancer survivors now. My husband and my daughter were diagnosed at the same time. She was 4, he was in his 50s. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. So 25 years ago, it was my grandmother and my grandfather. My grandfather had stage 4 prostate cancer, and my grandmother had pancreatic cancer. So, for certain communities, there's an affinity with these GI cancers. There's an affinity with these gynecological cancers, and so having to go through that, I had made her a promise that I would go into oncology, which I didn't do. I ended up doing studying the brain and the body and trauma, and so for 25 years I did critical care nursing for neurotrauma ICU. But what ended up happening is we would have these patients that were in an acute phase and needing ICU care, but there was this cancer underneath. And they would say, well, let's give them 72 hours and see if we can, if they make it through the 72 hours. And I'm like, no, we need to act now. We need to do something now. Why can't we do better? And just because someone is terminal doesn't mean it has to be right that second. Let's do something now and help them through this process so that we can manage the cancer later instead of making them recover from whatever their trauma or brain issue that it was, send them home and then start the process of seeing an oncologist. You have them in the hospital. Why not start now? And so this actually has been a pain point for me for 25 years of why do we wait? We can't wait. For some people, that wait means a guarantee of death. For every day that you delay is 10 days on their life expectancy. It is literally that much and so important. And so when my husband was diagnosed with lung cancer and then prostate cancer at the same time as my daughter, it was very painful for me. I You don't want to hear that your loved one is going to die. And it was 2008. There weren't a lot of treatments around for lung cancer at that time. And I'm looking at my 2.5-year-old running around the office with my 9-month old and looking at the reality of the situation. Yes, I'm a healthcare provider, but I'm about to be a single mom with 2 kids at this stage of my life. And fortunately, there were new advances in in lung cancer, and he was able to get on the platinum-based drugs. But had I not been in a position to know about these things, he wouldn't have had that opportunity. And a lot of people died needlessly from being on the wrong study. I mean, studies are great, but we have to make sure we're moving forward. And that's why they're so important for everyone to participate. But at the time with my daughter, she was 4 years old and there was nothing. There was nothing. And you're looking at someone in the dawn of their life about to die, and you're like, there's a lot of guilt with that. I gave birth to this person, this beautiful little individual, and she didn't ask for this. And so I had to literally choose between who I was going to help because I had to travel to St. Jude's. I live in
Mm,
So I had to choose who I was going to help, my husband or my daughter. We weren't going to be able to stay in the same state. And we have these 2 older children now that are
wow.
now um, 12 and 10. And so how do you choose? How do you choose who's going to live and die? And so I had to go with my daughter and leave my husband to be with his side of the family to help him through this. Um, it's a lot. And this is why oncology and mindfulness is so important
Yeah.
because we don't know what's going on in the background. As you're sitting in that doctor's office, you don't know if that loved one has another person that they're trying to help. It could be their relative, their parent, their neighbor. You just don't know. And then you're coming and bringing additional information. And there's a lot of stress. And we
Yep.
sometimes forget that our healthcare providers are human people too,
Yep.
and have private lives that are dealing with this and trying to be the best individual standing in front of you. And healthcare delivery needs a lot of work. And so this is why I do what I do.
It
So thank
does. My mother-in-law died of ovarian cancer about a year and a half ago. My daughter's best friend died of brain cancer about a year and a half ago. My stepdad died of lymphoma cancer about 4 years ago.
you. Hmm.
So I have so many experiences on that, and I had a scare with my dad having prostate cancer.
Hmm.
If it's just so much life, right? That especially with the daughter, like my daughter kind of got messed up in her head when one of her best friend died at 13, actually 12 before turning 13. And
Hmm.
she was so beautiful. She was a ballet dancer, and all of a sudden she had a migraine, and all of a sudden after a year she can't walk and died. I'm like, I
Oh,
can't. She can't process. Like Mom, I don't understand. And I said, you don't have to understand. There's nothing we could do. What we could do is support the family who's still here. And but
Yeah.
it's really hard for families. It's like there's no, sometimes you don't want to have a pity party just because it's happening, but also you need that support, like trying to find that harmony on trying to find support, but like not so much on other families to say, hey, I need this help. It's hard sometimes to ask for their help. So we just try to help them as much as we can. So I'm glad that you guys are both doing this. And I want to go back to Jason. Jason, can you now tell us on what you are doing with Circle of Friends for Oncology Mindfulness?
So every month we have a Freedom Fight Expo. We started in February this year. We had two events. Rochelle was at the March event. And I put that event on hold because I wanted to have it where we would have more support with sponsorships and other things where we could spread the awareness more. Thank God for the Hounds of Business and for you guys' support as well. I mean, it's helped out so much. It's been a blessing. So here we are with this event. We have 10 featured speakers over a weekend. So this is going to be August the 9th, 10th, and 11th. We have 5 speakers featured on Friday, 5 speakers featured on Saturday, and we have a prayer service scheduled on Sunday.
Mhm.
So each speaker will have up to 20 minutes to talk about their story. And it's not going to be, a sad story that everybody repeats. These stories are so impactful, so moving, inspiring, and we want everybody to leave with the feeling that, they have witnessed all of these speakers talk about their stories and the difficulties that they've been through. We want them to be able to say, hey, you know what? They went through that, so can I. I can achieve what I want to achieve in life and overcome whatever it is I'm facing right now as well. So we want everybody to leave encouraged, and be able to get healed, of course, and achieve their dreams. So
Mhm.
that's the goal that we have with this event. We're going to do this event every month from here on out, and I'm really, really excited.
Awesome. I just wanted to say there's about 919 live watchers on my YouTube when I'm sharing you guys on my YouTube channel. I'm taking pictures of that. So, love you, YouTube friends. Thank you for coming. Love you guys so much.
Definitely welcome.
Right? You get to have love. Like this is how we grow, right? This is how we use our platform to grow. We have Hounds of Business community. I'm having my level up community. Now we hit 1K. Thank you very much. Um, because it's nice to spread awareness, right? It is where we need to not just show empathy, but action. We need more action, people. And can you tell us a little bit about the expo and what is the expo about on the speaker? Are they going to give stories or what are they going to give support? Can you give us a little bit more detail
For me or for Rochelle?
for you?
Okay. So, of course, everybody's going to tell their personal stories, and it doesn't necessarily have to be their story. It can be maybe a story of a friend or a family member. And then after that, they're going to give some tools and tips to the audience on what they can do in order to overcome their situations as well. So, it's going to be informative, it's going to be inspiring, and Rochelle has a wonderful resource with her business as well. We've been able to meet other people from other organizations. For instance, Erase PTSD. Now they're an organization that helps patients to overcome PTSD with holistic treatments. They
Mhm.
do wonderful work, as well as another treatment center. And both of these organizations are going to be represented at Freedom Fight Expo so that everybody knows that these organizations exist. So that's another thing, not a lot of people don't know about these organizations or have access to these organizations. So
Mhm.
they can come to us at Freedom Fight Expo and receive this information.
Yeah, Rochelle, tell us a little bit about your business and how you are working with Jason.
So, Jason, so Orchid Healthcare Solution was looking at the healthcare journey and saying, wow, CJ, Your story is the epitome of what it was lacking. Like to just be there and they just so dryly tell it to you, not realizing you had no support or no one there to assist you. And not everyone has somebody there. So, Orchid Healthcare Solution was brought out to bring dignity back to healthcare, dignity back to that patient journey. But most importantly, I didn't have answers for my daughter's treatment. And I wish that I had a library or resource that I could go to that wasn't going to take a dissertation and a headache to read through. And so there was nothing there. And so therefore, I built it. And it houses all therapeutics in oncology that are evidence based, that have scientific backing, but people just don't know about it. And it doesn't mean that it's chemotherapy, radiation, and surgery. There are so many other things and options out there. I mostly focus on people with stage 3 and stage 4 or metastatic disease
Yeah.
because that's where people need the most help. And in the pandemic, people weren't able to access and gain access to the doctor's offices. And so we're seeing later stages in cancers now. And time is of the essence. If you don't know where to go, if you don't know what's out there, we need to know, and knowledge is power. And you can just make your own decision. I support you regardless. You want to be, you want to be, go out with a bang and fight. I can give you as many options that aren't going to hurt you as possible. Clear, are not going to hurt you. But if you want to settle your affairs and just enjoy the quality of your life, we can do that too and make a plan for after for your family. So that's what Organ Healthcare Solution is. It's mostly focused on nursing. I'm a nurse. It's nursing led. Nursing does not have a place in an EHR, and I'm creating that for them.
Yeah, I like what Dr. New said. Dignity is so important. So I saw when my mother-in-law had to be in hospice, like they need to be comfortable. They
Mm-hmm.
are they don't even talk anymore after a while, right? Because they're in so much pain.
Yes.
Um, the care we had, it was really bad experience for us in the very first hospice. The doctors were rude, very
Mm-hmm.
snappy, and of course the patient is also already in pain. A little bit more empathy. I think people need to be educated in the healthcare industry in that capacity. I
Mm-hmm.
understand we're all human, but they're literally expiring. They're
Yes.
expiring. They're not going anywhere. And so your attitude and the way you're handling the situation, whether they're screaming or whatever because they're in pain, you need to have a higher level of empathy, not even intelligence, because smart people sometimes can be snappy too, right? Not
Mm-hmm.
even intelligence. It's more of like you need to be caring for people to really look at what is happening right now with their life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right now, they're expiring, they're not going anywhere. So, your attitude of kindness and compassion and giving them comfort is
Yes.
the least you can do, right?
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
I we had to move her, and she was already really in
Frail.
pain, and we had to move her because they were very rude and snappy. And my husband even said, maybe, we should sue them. I'm like, we probably win, but how long is that going to take? 5 years, more money out the door, right? It's not healthy. And the emotional toll, the mental capacity that you have, it doesn't matter how smart you are, that emotion takes over of pain, that I wish that we had someone to talk to, right?
Yes.
And they do offer someone to talk to, but they are not there to really help get us through that pain and that waiting period. Like you're waiting, for I don't know how long, and all of these things. It's very nerve wracking. But I think if someone was there to kind of comfort you,
Yep.
and someone was there, a friend like Jason, even if you are not there physically, even just have the TV on, or even the computer or the cell phone to pray with them. I
Mm-hmm.
think that would be very comforting. Like I could see the service going on to pray for those people, really.
Mm-hmm.
I would love that. I would love that. Now, I was looking through the website, the Freedom Fight Expo website, and stuff like that. And so right now we're actually having those 3 dates, right? August 9th, 10th and 11th.
Right.
And you said there's about 10 speakers, correct? Or 15?
10.
10 speakers, right? And then I
Yeah.
also saw that the proceeds, 50% of it goes to the Imran Angels organization, which is more for one-on-one cancer support for personalized mentoring. I'm wanting to know if that is international or is that physical for caregivers? How does that work?
It's international. And so you can do this, remote. I'm all the way down here in Colombia. And personally, I'm an Immerman Angel. So, I'm proud to be an advocate for them. Yeah. Yeah. So I got certified to be an advocate for them. So I'm really, really excited about that too.
All right. So what's your cell phone again? So I'll be calling. Oh, thanks for telling me that. Like, what's Jason's phone number right now? Let me call. Um, yeah, you'd be really in trouble. I have over 1,000 watching on my YouTube for you, and you're like, okay, what's his number? Let me write it down.
it's,
Your
it's
wife
all
will be
good.
like, it's 3 a.m. Hang up right now. Oh my gosh. PTSD. Tell me about what is the depression, anxiety, and PTSD in terms of how does the expo help with that? Do we have people who are advocates for PTSD that are going to be helping as well?
Yes, absolutely. Uh, the Reset Medical and Wellness Center is another resource that we have. And the owner, the CEO of this company, is going to be there at the event speaking. So I'm really, really excited about what she's going to add to the event as well.
Oh,
So
that's
the work
awesome.
the work that they do, I mean, is absolutely amazing. They help with PTSD, depression, any other kind of mental wellness issue that people have. You can actually go there and receive a treatment in 20 minutes, come back the next day and get the same treatment, and have a completely different aspect and outlook on life. I mean, it's amazing what they do.
Awesome. And
Yeah,
what kind of help do each one of you really need help from us other than the expo? 'Cause I know you're going to be doing this every month. What are
yeah.
some of the things right now that you need, like sponsorship or obviously we're going to spread the word more on the signups and things like that. What else do you need?
Basically, you know what? It's just like any other business when you're starting out, CJ. It's awareness, it's, sign-ups, people that, you want to see at your event. It's sponsorships, it's all of that.
Yeah. Claudia, I didn't know that you didn't know. Sorry, I was reading at Claudia. I usually say that only to certain events because when I tell you guys, like people always ask me why I do what I do. It's because I know I'm gonna be expiring soon. I don't know when. I've almost died pretty much 8 times, including cancer, and I feel like I'm here for a reason, and that's what I'm going to do is I'm dedicating my life to leveling up the world through education, whether it's education formally of what I know, whether it's education with oncology, whether it's education with praying. I am a Christian. Yes, I'm a sinner. I curse a lot. Just full disclosure. Like, seriously, I do. But I pray and I think God still forgives me because it's coming from my heart. Okay. But at the same time, I do what I do. It's because I'm hoping that when I expire, someone will carry my torch and keep it going. Also, I have 2 daughters, and I'm hoping that someone will be kind to them. If I'm kind to others, it's going to come back like a boomerang, right? And we really need to help each other in this world because we are a global citizen. I mean, look at you, brother. You're away, not in the US, and you're still, helping us over here. Rochelle, where are you located right now? You're in Florida, right?
Yes, Miami Gardens, Florida.
And then I'm in San Diego, California. So we're all over the place, but we come in one place for a reason and good reason. So tell us about what kind of events that people are going to be looking forward to. Are you guys doing right now for this expo? But is there any other expo every month, or is it kind of the same expo going on?
Yeah, it's amazing, CJ, because, even though we're still organizing this event for next week,
Hmm.
I'm working on September already. I mean, speakers are coming at me left and right, wanting to participate. I mean, it's amazing. So September is for PTSD and Suicide Prevention Month.
Mhm.
Then October is for breast cancer. And November, we're going to do domestic violence.
Mhm.
Mm. And in
Yeah.
December, we're going to be baking, right? We're gonna be
Yes, we're going to
we're
be.
actually gonna be in Jason Forehand's kitchen baking for everybody, so he can dry freeze it, send it to you in Colombia. He's gonna send us some cigar and some. Oh, I love Colombian coffee. So yeah, you're gonna send Colombian coffee back here,
Absolutely. So yeah,
right?
we're going to take a break in December and we'll restart in actually in February.
Right. Okay.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, put me on some of those sponsorship that I want to amplify. I'm going to be doing a lot of press releases soon for my book.
Okay.
And I would love to put a little blurb on what you guys are doing in there. My press release goes in pretty much all industry and about 1,400 different links and over 100 news media outlet, including AP News, Google News, Bing News. We got to get it out there, right? That's how we roll.
Right.
And that's my commitment is to amplify your message as much as you can because again, we are global citizens.
Yes, we
Thank you
are.
so much.
Yeah, we live separately, but we really live together. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Um,
Yeah.
because our problem is everybody's problem. If we just are kind to each other, we probably live a better world, really, right?
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And can you tell me, as far as this event, is this virtual or hybrid?
I'm glad you asked that. For this year, everything is virtual, but starting in 2025, I'm looking at Las Vegas for the first hybrid event.
Ooh, okay. Sign me up. It's
Yeah.
5 hour drive.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, oh, it's 5 hour drive. We could do it. I just there's a good place called Red Canyon. I think it's good because it has I just did an event there with my work and it actually has the bowling alley. It has like really high end restaurant, but there's also like just random restaurants and they have conference rooms as well already. They have everything that you need, movie theater even in there, right? And they have even a VIP lounge that you want to lounge in. The pool was outside, but I don't like the 7 p.m. I've been trying to tell their CEO, I'm like, guys, 110 in Las Vegas, and you close your pool at 7 p.m. What's wrong with you? Like, there's something wrong with that. Um, but other than that, I think you should think about doing that. It is off the strip, but it's so nice. And if you're gonna have an event, people don't have to leave. They can
Okay.
literally stay there, and it probably will be affordable too because it's off the strip,
Mhm.
right? Yeah, think
Excellent.
about it. Let me know. Let me know. We'll see
Yeah.
what we can hook up. And I think that's great because in person event is really important to get to know people more.
Right.
And speaking of in person, I'm actually jealous with Rochelle because she got to meet Mike.
Yes, I did. I had promised Mike that if he ever crossed the Florida border, I was going to drive up to see him. So it was a 4 hour drive, but definitely worth it. I just want to let everyone know in LinkedIn that LinkedIn is glitching at the moment. And so if you don't see your comments, we see them and we apologize that we're not able to show them. But it's just a wonderful crowd that is here and everyone's excited to post. So um, hopefully we'll get everything in order in a few minutes.
Yeah, I'm reading them. Hi says, "Ooh, Vegas, baby, please.
Yes.
You're saying that you ain't coming. You gotta go on vacation." So Santa definitely is coming. A lot of interest for speakers. Jason, yeah, definitely. Also, Jason, are you also looking for speakers? Looks like you might be looking for that sponsorship for sure on amplification. I'll sign up for that because I'm
Well,
good at
I'm gonna
doing
say
that.
this too. I'm gonna say this too, CJ. From the May event, we had several hounds that were gonna speak at that event. So I'm gonna be reaching back out to those hounds and get them involved in that September event.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely. We
Yeah.
have a lot of veterans who are hounds,
Mhm.
Right.
including Susanna is one, Sandra Gonzalez is one, Jamie Hoshbrook is one. Who else? There's quite a bit of veterans that we have in Hounds of Business.
Yeah.
And, you know, we are trying to not only have a community, but now we're doing it globally, internationally. And you already know that most of our people here in the Hounds are very kind and compassionate people, right? And we're literally like no questions asked, we're going to jump in to help because that's who we are. And Dr. New is very good at also mindfulness and having that prayer. She's very good at that. She's helping me with my meditation. Sometimes I really do need to meditate on the spot. I'm just saying, especially if I'm losing my cool and something, I'm like, breathe,
Mhm.
Cecil, breathe. It's necessary when you have your business, and I love what you guys are doing now. Jason, in terms of people, is there a limit? Because I know that when there's a speaking engagement, there's usually a limit to how many people can come. Is there a limit?
To how many people can come? No, there's no
Yeah.
limit. It's all
Okay.
virtual, so yeah, there's no problem with that.
Awesome. Now I'm going back to Rochelle.
Yes.
Might be a little, I don't know if it's personal, but can you explain the difference between the various types of cancer treatment, like chemotherapy, radiation, immunotherapy? Can you actually talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So you have radiation that is given to you from outside the body. That's radiation. It could be a particle, a little seed that they actually implant within your body. Chemotherapy is when it's giving you a medication that goes through your blood system, and it migrates to the cancer and takes it out. But there's a lot of side effects that come with that, as the body is handling that chemotherapy. That can be unpleasant and untoward, but the trade-off is it's actually taking the cancer down. When we start talking about targeted DNA and genomic therapy and immune therapy, that's using our body's own cells and our body's own immunity to activate and recognize that there's a cancer tumor or these cancer cells floating around. What cancer does and is turn off the notification system for the rest of the body to say, oh, this little piece of the body is growing out of control, and we should go and turn it off, or take down those cells so we don't get sick. After a certain point, after a certain size, the cancer tumor will send out a signal and say, let me live, leave me alone, I'm all good. And so we have to counteract that by turning on the body's immune system to do that. So you hear these things like check inhibitors, or PARP, or um, other immunotherapies, and it just acts on the different cell types in our immune system that it can activate, that either change the way that chemicals can go in and out of our cells to heal ourselves, or it will actually change the composition of the cell itself and just melt it away. So just high level on doing that, because I don't want to break anybody's brain doing doing this. And I just wanted to shout out Susanna Dawn. I really appreciate your comment. Honestly, when emotions take over, it can be hard to think straight, is her comment. And when medical staff has kindness and empathy, it helps to create a better situation for the patient and family. And thank you. It's right there. And I really wanted to say that is such a true comment. A lot of times people think, okay, we have cancer, we're at war, or maybe the staff are like, okay, we're at war, we're going to save this person's life, and they forget that it's a person that has a pulse, that is still living, standing right in front of them. And there is no expiration date on somebody's life. I don't care that you say they're terminal. There's no expiration date. And so we really have to think about that, how we construct the words that we use when we are talking, not only to each other, not only between ourselves as professionals, but also between our loved ones and that person going through cancer. Because it's not just that individual, it's the whole family. And depending on how big that family is, or how big that person provides care to the community, it could be the whole community that gets cancer. So, Liz,
Louis has a great question here. Is it possible to infect cancer cells with a virus that the immune system recognizes to them, attacks, and kill the cancer cells.
Yes, and that actually is called aud- um, it's called ADC, and it could be an antibody. Yes, no problem, no problem. So the classification for you, those are called ADCs, and it's an autoimmune where they actually take the either the human's bodies, your own antibodies, or they have them donated or manufactured in a lab and give those to you. It just depends on where you are and how strong you are, whether the donated ones will work, that they're curated and specifically targeted for that cancer, or we can use your own. And so that is called antibody therapy. That's something new coming out in the market. I think the FDA has approved one for Alzheimer's disease most recently, but there is something coming down the pike for cancer. Great question.
Yeah, that is great question, Lewis. I also like it. It says LinkedIn user, so I don't know who it is. It says, considering all the resources and organizations that exist that people don't know about, it shows us that our media needs revamped marketing and advertising. That is true. That is why I love independent content creators like myself and like Mike Asherbrenner, because we can actually provide information that's from the ground, is what I call it,
Mhm.
right? It's real. This is why I want to level up the world through education, because most people will not have this conversation in an amazing way. We have a hounds of business here on Restream, and I'm busy looking on my YouTube right now. There's about 1,200 people watching us in my YouTube when I clicked it on there. And it's basically, the same people that are here, but it's a lot of people who are really tuning in, and I have everyone all over the world. So if you guys have questions, put it in there for Rochelle. But
Mhm.
this is why we create our platform. It's not for us. It's not about us. It's about the people who are suffering out there right now, that thinks that they're alone, that no one understands them. From my own experience, like I said, we were treated horribly,
Mhm.
horribly, right? And it's not just for us. It's the family members who's going through right now and all this pain and suffering and doubt and, oh gosh, I only have, it went from like, oh, she has 3 months to, oh, she has 4 days. Huh? How did that happen? Right? It
No
got it.
expiration date. No one has an expiration date. It is unknown. That's why science is not called an exact science. It's not exact. We are building treatments and building better treatments and building better options for people as we go along, as we understand how the body works, as we understand how these drugs work in different people, which is why diversity is so necessary and needed in clinical trials. How do I know it can work better in you, but doesn't work for me? And we won't know that unless we try it on everyone to make sure that nobody gets hurt. At the end of the day, it's about people surviving illness, people surviving the scourge of cancer, and and having it available. And if we don't all provide and become part of these clinical trials, we're all not going to survive. It's all of us. We're all part of that human genome. It doesn't matter what we look like. It doesn't matter who we love. We don't. It doesn't matter our socioeconomic status, political party. It doesn't matter. It's an equal opportunity offender. It will take us out if we all don't come together. And so, having communities like this together, it allows us to answer the questions. And I just want to say, I also have a YouTube live going on and streaming on Facebook. And if you're not seeing anyone answering your questions, put the questions in there anyways. And after, I will come back and answer the questions. Vaccine trials, that's the next thing. Thank you, Stuart. Welcome. Uh, I think vaccine trials are an amazing thing. You're using your body's own immunity to save itself. Um, we've been using vaccines for decades. Actually, over 100 years. When you think about it, the polio vaccine, we have the tetanus and diphtheria, rubella for the mumps, the measles, all of these vaccines that work well. The real reason we don't hear about them is because the people get the vaccine and it works. And so in reading a lot about these trials in vaccines, if we can just turn on the body's own natural ability to fight disease, that's a win, because when our body does it naturally, it doesn't hurt us. We just have to understand that we can work together and find the mechanisms to turn it on, but also to turn it off, right? Because when the body is already compromised, those mechanisms aren't there. So we just need to make sure that we do it in the right way and not hurt anybody. And that's why we all need to be participants. Great question, Stuart. CJ, you're on mute.
Of course I am. My dog right now, she's actually jumping on my leg and screaming. I'm not sure what she wants. And I was like, guys, it's okay. Like I have two English bulldogs and my German Shepherd. I'm like, stop, stop. I'm coming. I'm coming. These are great questions that they have, and I'm glad that we're having this
Yeah.
discussion because again, this would not happen if we don't talk about it, right? The more we talk about it and really have a conversation, you don't have this in the hospital. We don't have time for this nonsense in the hospital because people are like, but really, you need to take time to really think about having this conversation because when you need to say, hey, I'm having this issue, I need someone to pray with me, I can't cope. What's Jason number again? What was your number again, Jason? We'll be calling Jason to pray for us. Right? And we're like, we need an advocate for this. I need Rochelle. Rochelle, where are you, sister? I need that number, right?
Mhm,
Like, I want that. This is why I love this conversation because we can tap into our directory of friends and said, help, I need help, right? And I wish I had you guys when I was going through it. It was a lonely time. It
mhm,
was,
mhm.
yeah, it was like, I just want to give up. I'm done. Like, I was 80 pounds.
The world, look at where you are today. The world would have lost your wonderful person and their voice and advocate in this had you given up. The takeaway from today is I want people to know you're not alone. And Dr. New is giving some definitions for me while my brain froze while trying to get the answers out. But at least you know what it does in the body. And so ADCs are antibody drug conjugates, and it helps with targeted therapy and chemotherapy. A lot of times, these aren't something that's offered to you. And again, when you have advanced cancers, if you are in a zip code that your municipality isn't spearheading this, where you start in cancer is not where you finish financially. And so, if your insurance plan doesn't pay for this, if your facility isn't aware of this because it's a community hospital, not a research or cancer hospital, you might not even know that it's available for you. And so, this is why when and CJ talks about you got to get the knowledge is power. That's what I wished I had. That's what you're hearing from all of us here. There's a community of voices here in oncology and cancer that honestly nobody wants to be part of. Who wants to know they have a death sentence? But once you're here, once you're in here, once you meet us, once you come to know what we know and we share, you're so glad and wish that you could have found us sooner. So I want you to know you're not alone. You're not alone. If you are diagnosed with cancer, if your loved one is diagnosed with cancer, your friend is diagnosed with cancer, and you know they're alone and they don't have anybody, find, just ask the question, where's that support person? Get that social
Rochelle, that's all right. I'm
Working
into
Healthcare Solutions or Freedom Fight Expo or the Hounds of Business. We are here. Or Level Up or Dr. New. There are so
Dr.
many.
New is not only like
Mhm.
really there for you for meditation and
That's right.
spirituality, but
Mhm.
she is a pharmacist. Okay. She's a pharmacist first before that. If you ask me anything about cancers and things like that, I know in layman's term because I have a lot of family who's on cancer and I have to advocate for them and have a conversation with doctors. And I'm pushy when it comes to that. I don't take no for an answer. And I said, why? I give me a good reason why. And if
Mhm.
you don't know, please don't open your mouth. Like I get really short when it comes to my family. Please don't open your mouth. Go ahead and ask somebody else who knows about something. I
Yes.
have a lot of friends from Harvard Medical who's oncologist, and I will pull friends out of nowhere. Let me tell you something. Like I will
Mhm.
scream on top of the mountains, I need help with this one. Right?
Yes.
Before I didn't know how. I didn't know how. I didn't have a way of doing that. Now that I know, I'm like, oh, I'm calling somebody, right?
Mhm.
This is why it's really helpful. And don't feel, I think there's also that fear of shame and rejection comes kicking in, like, oh, why would they actually help me? I'm a nobody, or they don't even know me, and how much does this cost? I had to get to this therapy and medicine. Like literally, guys, I was 80 pounds, and I thought, wow. I was taking a picture, and I looked at that picture. My 8-year-old's arm was bigger than mine. That's how. And
Mhm.
they told me that if I was going to chemo, like a full chemo, I would have died. My body wouldn't make it. So I went to a pill chemo. I was going through my doctorate, and I said, man, I'm gonna die before my doctorate. What the heck? Like I was thinking, oh gosh, what a loser. Are you gonna die, CJ? You didn't still, because my family were Asians. I'm supposed to be a doctor by 30, okay? And I had issues at that time. So I got my doctorate at 32. I made it to 32 at that time. I'm like, yes. Now I'm almost 50, and now I'm having perimenopause. Now another issue that I have to deal
Mhm.
with. So, Jason, can you please have someone in your team about perimenopause and menopause, please? Okay, because we need to have that conversation too. Because this people right
Well,
here is having issues.
Just ask me.
well,
Just
yeah.
ask
No,
me. That's a
okay.
conversation we're always
Rochelle's
having.
got you. We have people
Mhm.
in our community too.
Mhm.
Yes, and then Central, can you please put the Freedom Expo on here, because we are going to be ending this conversation. I don't want to end this conversation. I'm having way too much fun on knowing what Jason does for our community and what and guys, really, I from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for this information. Thank you for being who you are. Jason, thank you for putting everybody in one place where we can all help each other, truly, right? I don't just talk about it, because the way I see it is, if I can't show up for my community, then I won't say it, because my mantra is go big or go home.
Mhm.
That's it. I go big or I go home.
Mhm.
And I haven't gone home yet. So I'm just saying, I will help wherever I can to make sure that our community stays informed. We need more information on
Mhm.
things that people are going through, but nobody knows about it because they're doing it alone. And you don't have to be alone, right? So,
Yep.
Sinjal, thank you so much. Jason, any other information that you need before we end this conversation from us?
Yes. Feel free to go to our website is circleoffriendsclub.com and sign up. We will be Rochelle and I on Friday. You can catch us there. We're going to be talking about freedom topics. So I'm really, really excited about that. Thank you again, CJ, and to Sindel, and of course, Mike
Mhm.
Asherbranner, everybody at the Hounds of Business. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank
Yeah.
you. And Mike really gave me the space today, so I took over. I'm not gonna be invited anymore for sure. To like CJ, you really botched that conversation. I'm sorry, Mike. I'm sorry. I tried, bro. Rochelle, any last minute thing about what you do for the community and also your organization?
So I am actually part of the Cancer X Moonshot and part of the president's cancer initiative in Washington. Um, I sit on a few committees that talk about health policy and making sure patients have access to their records, and that is most important when you want to talk about that. So Orchid Healthcare Solutions. You can find me on Circle of Friends. You can find me on Hounds of Business. I'm on pretty much most of the social media. I just am here to be a voice of reason where you don't have an answer, and to make sure that no matter where you are and what phase of your treatment, that you have an option. So come find me, come find somebody who's adjacent to me, come find Dr. Terica, just come find us. We are here and we love you. We want to give you what you need to help you make healthy decisions.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for being here. Hounds of Business community. Thank you. All of our Facebook friends, for Rochelle. Thank you. We love you guys. And for all of my amazing YouTube friends, you stayed until 5 p.m. really for 1K. We appreciate you. Love you guys so much. Bye, everybody.
Bye bye.
Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.
Thank y'all for stopping by. Be sure to follow, share, and like, and send me a message if you had fun today. Y'all come back now.